Rero nongeye kubasuhuza mwese mukurikiranye C4 TV nk'uko mumenyereye tuba dufite ibiganiro byinshi cyane muri iyi minsi twagiye tubagezaho hanyuma ndakeka ko biri kugenda bibagirira akamaro kandi muri kugenda mwingiramo ibintu byinshi. Iyi ni tofa mugiye kubara nk'uko mumenyereye hanyuma muri iyi minsi dufite insanganyamatsiko cyangwa se topic twageneye ibi bihe kubera ko n'ibihe turimo ni amezi ya mental health awareness yo kugira ngo abantu bashishikarize kumenya ko ubuzima bwo mu mutwe nabwo ari ikintu cy'ingenzi abantu bagomba kwitaho. Ngewe mugiye kubana itofa hanyuma nkaba mfite undi mutumirwa uturutse muri iyo department tugiye kubana muri aka kanya kugira ngo tubashe kugira byinshi twiga. Thank you so much. I'm going to start welcoming you on this platform. This is C4 TV. You are always welcome to share like knowledge, thoughts, and we have a different topic that we cover here so that our communities will enjoy it and learn something from it. So you can start introducing yourself so that people, our audience, know who you are and what you are bringing for us today.
Thank you for the warm welcome. My name is Oumie. I am getting my master's in public health at the University of Louisville, and my focus is health promotion and behavioral sciences. And I also work at Kentucky Refugee Ministries in the mental health department, and I also work at the Kentucky Office for Refugees as a graduate research assistant with the Refugee Health Promotion Project.
Wow, that's huge. So, I think it's called Oumie. You were a very busy person. It's called Oumie akora abuze ibintu byinshi ntabwo byose ndi bimenye akora muri KRM cyangwa Kentucky Refugee Ministry akaba ari kuri University of Louisville ari kwiga ibintu bijyanye na ari gukora masters yiwe muri public health and health promotion cyangwa se ibintu bijyanye n'ubuzima akaba ari kuri KRM akora muri department cyangwa se muri department y'ibintu bijyanye n'ubuzima bwo mu mutwe mental health. So urumva ko ari umuntu w'ingirakamaro kuri iyi topic cyane cyane iyo tugiye kuganiraho. So without taking too much time, we just want to tap into this topic. What is mental health? Like if somebody asks you like, what is it? Like we know other type of health, like we want to take care of our physical health. We want to take care of like our health in general, but we don't normally talk about mental health. What would you tell somebody? What is mental health?
I would say, I guess in a simple definition, your mental health is how the well-being of your mind, I think would be the most simplistic way of putting it. And everybody has to focus on their mental health. You know, sometimes when people hear the term mental health, it kind of triggers them to think of things like, oh, that means that I'm crazy or there's something wrong with me. But everybody has to maintain a strong mental health to lead a better lifestyle. So the way that I like to look at it is if my mental health is in good condition, that means that I will be able to maintain good relationship with my family, with my friends. I will be able to handle, difficult things that might happen during my days. Work, school, kids, relationships, family, friends, all of that. So maintaining a good mental health or a good state of your mental health is important for everybody. So I want to make sure that, especially within our communities, that people know that when you hear the term mental health, it doesn't mean that you're crazy or that something is wrong with you. It's important for all of us to maintain a strong mental health.
So that was ese ubuzima bwo mu mutwe bundi ni iki? Ubuzima bwo mu mutwe iyo babuvuze ni iki cya mbere umuntu yakumva ati ubuzima bwo mu mutwe mu buryo bworoheje bwo busobanura ni nk'uko ni kuri umuntu yumva ameze neza mu his right mind nk'uko yabivugaga igihe mu mutwe we ari gukora ibintu neza, igihe akora abana n'abandi neza, igihe abana n'umuryango neza, abana no ku kazi neza, ibintu byemeze ntabwo ari ngombwa ati muri community yacu cyangwa se abantu benshi baturuka mu bihugu bitandukanye cyane cyane muri Afurika araza wenda no kutubitubwiraho naho akomoka abantu iyo bumvise ubuzima bwo mu mutwe bahita babijyanisha no kumva ari ubusazi cyangwa se ari ikibazo cy'umuntu ufite ibindi bibazo bitandukanye. So rero akaba ari ingingo y'ingenzi cyane muri iki gihe tugomba gushishikariza abantu kugira batangire bayimenye, kuko turaza gusanga hari n'ibindi bibazo byinshi bijyana nabyo mu buzima bwacu bwa buri munsi. So the other question that I want to ask you, how would somebody know that he has or she or he has a problem of mental health, or like there's something not right in his mental health?
I think a way would be able to look at yourself and see if maybe you're not acting in the ways that you normally act. Maybe you're in a place where maybe you're more sad all the time, or you're more angry, something that normally wouldn't make you sad or normally wouldn't make you mad. Now you're in a place where easily you're getting mad at things. Like maybe as a parent, your baby is crying, and normally that's not something that would upset you or make you sad or make you mad. But now you're noticing more and more that your baby crying or your kids playing, the noise, like that's something that is making you upset. Maybe that would be something that would tell you, okay, like maybe something is wrong. Now, it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you, like you have problems, but maybe you just need somebody to talk to, and sometimes with maybe our partner, like a husband or a wife, or maybe with your parents or your siblings, maybe you don't feel comfortable to talk to them about things. You're dealing with things, you're holding things in your heart that maybe you're saying to yourself, if I share it with them, they'll judge me, or they'll think there's something wrong with me. So just for people to know, if you notice changes within yourself where you're sad more often, or you're mad more often, or you're feeling like something is wrong with you, it doesn't mean that something is necessarily wrong with you. It's just you're going through changes. Maybe you're struggling to find work, or maybe you're having a hard time at work, or maybe you're having hard times in your relationship, things like that. And it's causing you like a lot of stress, a lot of thinking, So it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. It just means that maybe you need somebody to talk to process your feelings, so then it won't make you as sad or it won't make you as mad. So just simply noticing different changes within yourself and being able to recognize, this is not my normal thinking. This is not how I normally act. So maybe I should talk to somebody.
Okay, so mu buryo bworoheje nabimubajije ati ese ni ryari umuntu amenya ko afite ikibazo cyo mu mutwe. So mu buryo bworoheje, wenda utagiye mu buryo bw'abaganga, abaganga nibo bazamenya igihe byahindutse uburwayi cyangwa hari ikibazo ufite kikaba gikeneye ko wanavurwa, kuko hari n'urwego rugeraho bigakenera kubona ubufasha bw'ubuvuzi. Ariko igihe cyose wumva hari ikibazo runaka, ikintu kitagenda neza, bitandukanye n'uko wari usanzwe witwara, urugero uri umumama ufite abana, umwana asigaye arira ukarakara wenda cyane bitari bisanzwe uko wari umeze, igihe ubona hari impinduka mu buzima bwawe, mu mibanire yawe n'abandi, mu muryango wawe, mu rugo rwawe, ku kazi, igihe wenda ufite stress zirenze, wenda wabuze akazi, ibintu nk'ibyo, cya gihe bigera ukumva unaniwe neza kubyihangana cyangwa birenze uburyo uri kwitwara, uburyo utitwaraga mbere. So aho niho uvuga ati aha ndumva harimo ikibazo, wenda se nkeneye umuntu tuganira. Nibyo yavugaga ati si ngombwa ko wumva ko ari ikibazo cy'abantu bari bukugireho ikibazo, cyangwa nubivuga abantu baragufata ukundi, ariko ni ngombwa ko mu gihe bimeze gutyo bitaragera kure utangira gushaka uburyo uganira, hari abantu benshi bagufasha, ari naho muri department akoramo. So if somebody has a mental health issue, is there any help for them, like not necessarily telling them, hey, you need to talk to somebody? Do we have services like in your department? Do we have services where you'll be like, we open for those cases, like anybody who is feeling like some type of way, like need some help? Do you have like available help for them?
Yeah, we have services. Like I said, I work in the KRM mental health department. So it doesn't have to be, we don't only help KRM refugees that came here through that. We also have the victims advocacy that is also for maybe clients that have been impacted by domestic violence. So we help a wide range of clients. So it doesn't only have to be people that came here as refugees. So with that, when we get, but speaking specifically for clients that we get referrals for mental health or maybe in a violent situation, we'll call the client and we'll check with them and we'll just say, hi, we got this referral about your situation. Just so you know, anything that we talk about here is not going to be shared with any outsiders. We're not going to, put this in the newspaper. We're not going to talk to random people off the street about your situation. This conversation will stay between you and I and anybody else who is going to be helping on your case. And then once we have their permission to carry on with the conversation, then we will ask, what it is that they're dealing with, what you're going through, what types of things are causing you stress or pain or anxiety, what is going on. And then from there, after we finish having that conversation, then we'll say to them, are you interested in having therapy? Because we don't force anybody to go to it. It's only if you would like to do it. So if you have insurance, most of our clients will have Medicaid insurance. So you can go and get therapy for free with your insurance. And then there are some services, there are some places that will also offer you therapy even if you don't have insurance. So depending on if you have insurance or you don't have insurance, then we would see to who we would refer you to. And then once we refer you to somebody, they will contact you and see when it is that you will be able to start therapy. You can do therapy either on the phone or you can do it in person. And then the sessions would just be regular conversation, anything that you have struggled with from your past, anything that was hard for you maybe back home, or anything that you're dealing with now, relationship troubles, problems with your kids, problems with your parents, any kind of problems you're having, any type of stress, anxiety. Maybe you have gone through some type of domestic violence or sexual assault, things like that. Anything that you're dealing with, the therapist would be able to help you with that. And you would also have the staff where you're at to, if you feel comfortable, to also talk to them about different things that you're dealing with. But for the most part, we will refer you to somewhere else so you can start therapy, and anything that you're dealing with, they would be able to help.
All right, that's a good thing. Like avuze ku bintu byinshi bitandukanye, ariko amazaga ku bufasha buhari kuri KRM cyangwa muri department akoramo, hari ubufasha bwinshi butandukanye. Ati umuntu wese uri kumva afite ikibazo runaka cyangwa se kuko twabivuze, igihe wumva hari ibitari kugenda neza, ukananirwa kubyakira, wabuze umuntu uba wabiganirizaho, muri department ye ari kuri KRM, muri mental health department barakwakira, baragufasha. Ushobora kubaganiriza igihe icyo ari cyo cyose. Nyuma igihe babonye aho ukeneye ubufasha bwisumbuyeho, wenda nawe ubishaka, kuko ntabwo ari itegeko, ntabwo ari kuguhatira ko wivuza, haba hari ibindi bigo bakorana nabyo bigufasha kugira ngo ubashe gutangira kuba wabona therapy cyangwa se kubonana n'abaganga mu gihe bigaragaye ko wumva ukeneye ubwo bufasha. So rero hari ibimenyetso bitandukanye bigaragaza, nk'uko muri kubona kuri screen, bigaragaza ko ufite ikibazo cyangwa se ufite nk'ibibazo runaka by'ibikomere bitakize, nko kumva utasaba ubufasha umuntu, nko muri ibyo byose twavugaga, kumva ko hari ahantu hari ubufasha ariko kumva utajya gusaba ubufasha, kwirinda cyangwa se guhora wumva ushaka kwiringira abandi, kwisunga abandi bantu kugira wumve umeze neza, utabasha kuba independent cyangwa kuba uri we ubasha kwibeshaho wenyine, udakeneye ko ubuzima bwawe bushingira ku bandi gusa, kwigunga cyane, kwirengagiza rimwe na rimwe niba ufite ikintu kikubabaje, aho kugira ukisohore ahubwo ukakirengagiza ukagipfukiranya, gutinya ko uzasigwa n'abantu cyangwa gutabwa n'abantu, kwitarura n'abandi, kutizera abantu, kuhora wumva ko abantu nta kintu, abantu bose ari bamwe, abantu ari babi, ibintu nk'ibyo, abantu bakunda kubura ibitotsi no gusinzira nabi, kumva uhorana shame cyangwa se ikimwaro, guhorana n'amakenga adashira, ni bimwe mu bimenyetso abahanga bagaragaza ko abantu iyo bikabije abantu bashobora kuba bafite ikibazo cyo mu mutwe cyangwa se ikibazo cy'ibikomere bitarakira. So I was explaining some type of like some examples where you can seek mental health help, or how you can know yourself, how you can know you have anything. So
And I think also, sorry,
yeah, you
I
can go
just
ahead.
wanted to add also when it comes to being able to recognize if you maybe need some mental health support,
Mhm.
there's not a certain way that a person looks that you would be able to know, oh, this person needs mental health
Yeah,
support.
yeah.
Um,
That's
before
true. Thank you for bringing that.
Yes, before we were talking about how, in some of our cultures, that when people hear the term mental health, or if you hear that maybe you need some mental health help, people associate that with being, mad
Crazy.
or being crazy. And just because somebody needs mental health support, that's not something that you see on somebody. And,
Yeah.
sometimes people can.
Doesn't mean you crazy.
Exactly. And it does not mean that you're crazy. So we have to make sure that we're watching the language that we use when we talk about our people that are struggling with mental health, or if we're struggling with our own mental health. You're not a crazy person, and there's no way to know just by looking at somebody that they need mental health support. Somebody can be a superwoman or a superman, and you would look at them and you would say, wow, I didn't think that this person would need this kind of help, Or you might look at somebody and say, oh, they need mental health support, and meanwhile, they don't need it, So there's no way to look at somebody and just know they need it. Or so we have to be careful to not place that judgment on ourselves and to
Yeah.
not place that judgment on other people.
Yeah, ati mental health nta muntu n'umwe ugaragara ko afite ikibazo cyo mu mutwe umurebe uhita uvuga uriya muntu afite ikibazo cyo mu mutwe. Ikindi ntabwo bisobanuye ko ari umusazi, ntibisobanuye ko yataye ubwenge, ahubwo nta nubwo agaragara, ntabwo uko umuntu agaragara, uko igihagararo cye, uko asa, uko ameze, ntabwo ari byo bikwereka ko afite ikibazo runaka, cyangwa se nta nubwo ari byo binasobanuye ko atagifite, ahubwo ubuzima bwo mu mutwe ni igihe buri muntu wese yumva ko niba hari ikintu kitagenda neza, afite ikibazo runaka, ashobora kubona ubufasha bumugeneye. Thank you for bringing something about domestic violence. So I want to know, like, in your experience, what you have seen, like, is there any relationship between, like, can you relate, like, domestic violence and mental health?
Definitely. Domestic violence is definitely, it's a sensitive topic. So when it comes to I'll start off first with how maybe we view mental health within like our specific communities, within our culture. And statistically in the United States, I don't know the exact number in specifically refugee communities, because also these areas are lacking research.
Yeah.
But domestic violence, for a woman to leave a domestic violence situation, it takes her up to 7 to 9 times to try to leave. So people think that when somebody is in a domestic violence situation, it's easy to just get up and leave. It's like, oh, if your partner beats you one time, you should be smart enough to know, oh, you should leave. Or if you're in a domestic violence situation, that means you're not smart. That means you're not strong. That means you're a weak person and you let people take advantage of you. There's so many opinions that people have about domestic violence victims, and that will impact your mental health. If something that and maybe it'll be situations that somebody hasn't even come out and said that they have been impacted by domestic violence, but to hear how people within your community talk about domestic violence, if you're in a domestic violence situation, you won't want to come forward and say that you're dealing with it, because you know how people in your community view it. So that can be something that would impact somebody's mental health and put them in a very bad place. So when you hear statistics about it takes a woman up to 7 to 9 times to try to leave a domestic violence situation, that alone shows you how hard it is for somebody to just get up and leave, especially when you have children, especially if you maybe don't make as much money as your partner makes, or maybe you don't have as much education as your partner has. So you might feel for yourself, I have nowhere else to go, so, I'm going to stay here instead. Or maybe also sometimes your partner can be abusive towards you, or curse at you, or make you feel bad about yourself, and then the next day they're very sweet to you. you know. So you say to yourself, oh, they won't do it again. You know, they've changed. That was yesterday or that was last month. They didn't do it again. So there's so many things that go into why it would be hard for somebody to leave a domestic violence situation and why it takes somebody trying so many times before they're able to successfully leave.
ati muri statistique cyangwa se mu mibare mpuzandengo umugore cyangwa se umuntu, is it for women only or just men?
For women, women, it takes them 7 to 9 times.
That's right. Okay,
successfully leaving.
You're gonna come up with another number for male also, because these days we're trying to be both ways.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the men can also be in those situations. Yes.
Yeah.
And domestic violence doesn't only involve physical abuse.
Yeah.
You know, somebody can be emotionally abusive towards you, and that can be making you feel bad about yourself. Like, let's say maybe something that you're insecure about is like your weight, or you're insecure about maybe like pimples on your face. Yeah. And your partner will make fun of you for that, or talk about you for that, or try to bully you in front of people and making you feel uncomfortable. Like those are things also, or financial abuse. Yeah. You know, your partner, you go to work, maybe you have the same account and your partner is taking all of your money without you knowing. Yeah. So it's not only physical abuse, there's emotional abuse, financial abuse, and men can also be in abusive relationships as well. Women can also be abusive. It's not only men.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that. So, twe tuvuga ko ikibazo gihari cya domestic violence cyangwa se mu buryo mu ngo harimo ihohoterwa ritandukanye, kandi nk'uko nari mubajije bijyana kuri bose, ntabwo ari ku badamu gusa, ariko ku mpuzandengo mu mibare ku badamu, umudamu kugira ave mu rugo cyangwa se ku bagore ni inshuro zigera kuri 79 niyo mpuzandengo ihari ku rwego rw'igihugu, kugira ngo abashe kubona ko koko ari gukorerwa ihohoterwa kandi agomba kuva nko muri urwo rw'urugero. Urumva rero biba byarasabye igihe kirekire ahohoterwa kugira ngo amare kubibona. Rero niyo mpamvu abantu benshi usanga ngo ayo mahohoterwa hari, ariko bakabyirengagiza kubera izindi nyungu wenda bareba, se abana, uburyo bw'umutungo se, aho kuba, ibintu nk'ibyo. So kandi ntabwo domestic violence, ahantu abantu bagomba kumenya ko ihohoterwa ryo mu ngo ntabwo ari uko umuntu bamukubita cyangwa se bamukomeretsa aribwo abona ko ari ihohoterwa. Hari ihohoterwa rishingiye ku mutungo, nk'urugero umugabo n'umugore barakorera wenda amafaranga angana, cyangwa se barakorera bahuje konte, ariko ugasanga umwe niwe ujya utwara amafaranga yose. Ntabwo buzenga n'umugabo gusa cyangwa umugore gusa, bishobora kuba kuri hose kuri bose. Hanyuma ugasanga niwe gukoresha nk'umutungo wose, arimo arirengagiza undi, harimo guhora abusive language, kuba ahora mutuka, mucurira wenda nk'ikintu runaka, ibintu nk'ibyo. So rero ibyo byose biba biri muri domestic violence, kandi abantu bagomba kumenya ko ari ibintu biba bihari, bagomba kuganiraho no kugira ngo bigabanye, kugira hagabanye n'ingaruka nyinshi ziterwa na domestic violence. Tubona abantu bagirana nabi, bikagera naho abantu bicana, ni amakesi menshi tujya tubona.
And also, how you brought up the statistics about mostly being about women. So you will find that most of the statistics online will be catered or geared towards women. And that's not to say that men are not also at risk of being abused in a relationship, but it's that majority of cases are impacting women. So that's why more of the research is geared towards how it impacts women, because that's where majority of the numbers are.
Yeah, umubare munini impamvu twe tuzanye ko ari ku badamu cyangwa se abagore, nuko umubare munini w'amahohoterwa ahari mu mibare usanga arashingiye ku gitsina gore. Niko navuga. So I want to ask you, like we coming to an end of our interview, but I want to ask you, have you seen also like mental health in like young people, like mental health programs with the teenagers or people at young age?
Yeah, absolutely. Young people, it's a lot. And
the reason why I bring this is because many parents, when you speak to them, they be like, be a kid.
That's-
They don't have any problem.
That's what I
do
wanted
they
to
have,
say. Yes.
why, like, they have an attitude? Like,
Yeah.
what, like, if I can say how they are feeling depressed or something like, they'd be like, no, like, you have everything. I'll give you this and give you this. Like, you don't have a reason to feel that way.
Yes, there's a lot of that language coming from our parents where they just say, you know, everything in your life is easy. You know, I provide this roof for you. I provide food for you. I provide clothes for you. You don't have to work to provide. You know, what is it that you can be sad about? But also, I think it's important for older people, for parents to put themselves in their kids' shoes. You know, there was a point in time where you were living in those same shoes and you had somebody telling you, what do you have to be sad about? You know, and it's not nice. It's not a nice feeling. So older people and parents should think about that also. You know, when it's said to you, it doesn't make you feel good. So don't say it to somebody else. And also, maybe, again, going back to the domestic violence things, you know, when people come out and say that they're being impacted by certain things, and people tell them, oh, there's no way that you're being impacted by that, you know? So it's the same kind of principle.
Yeah.
You know, kids also, or younger people, when they come and say that they're struggling in school, they're having a hard time with friends, maybe, you know, listen to them and understand them, because the same way that, you know, you came to America and were having some issues and adjusting to life in the U.S., struggling to find work, you know, struggling to provide for your family, all of these things, your kids also have their own types of struggles. Yeah. They're also struggling with, like, learning the English language in schools, you know, and unfortunately,
some kids are bullied.
school, yes, unfortunately, there's bullying in the schools and just trying to, you know, find their way in school, trying to find their way in America in general. So the same way that older people and parents are trying to make their way is the same way that the kids are trying to make their way. And just giving them that level of understanding that you have situations too that maybe the next person will not understand.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do the same thing to somebody else. So try to give them that same level of understanding. Maybe, of course, you at, for example, 45 years old, the issues that you're dealing with at 45 is going to be different than the issues that a 15-year-old is facing.
Yeah.
But they still have their own issues that they're facing. So it doesn't mean that it's less important. It's just, it's different. So try to give them that understanding.
So rero wajije ikibazo kiri hano, usanga ababyeyi birengagiza ko abana babo bafite ibibazo runaka cyangwa se bafite uburyo nabo bagiramo ukuntu biyumva n'uburyo bashobora kuba bitwara nabi bitewe wenda n'ibibazo byo mu mutwe bafite. Abana benshi usanga birengagizwa, ugasanga umubyeyi ari kuvuga ko niba uri umwana aguha buri kimwe, nta kintu wishyura ufite, aguha icyo ukeneye cyose. Gute wakumva ufite ibibazo byo mu mutwe? Gute wavuga ngo ufite depression cyangwa se ufite agahinda gakabije, ufite kandi ibintu byose abiguha? Rero nibyo yavugaga ko ntabwo biterwa n'imyaka, kuko nk'uko ku rugero rwawe umuntu mukuru ufite ibintu urwara nabyo, n'umwana nawe afite ibintu arwara nabyo. Abana benshi bava muri kominote z'abimukira, bava mu bihugu bitandukanye, iyo baza hano muri Amerika usanga nabo batangira kwishakisha nk'uko n'umuntu mukuru yishakisha, ushaka akazi cyangwa ugira ute. N'umwana nawe aba afite ibyo bibazo ku ishuri, ntabwo avuga icyongereza neza, abandi bana baramuseka, ntabwo baramenyera umuco wa hano, ibintu nk'ibyo. Nawe ashobora kugira stress cyangwa kumva ntabwo ari kumera neza, bikaba byamuviramo kwigunga n'ibindi bibazo. Iyo rero bitafashwe neza, kare twagize ikiganiro no muri department ya polisi, usanga nk'abana benshi baragiye bagaragara mu bikorwa bya mass shooting cyangwa kurasa, usanga harimo abana bagiye bagira ibibazo byo mu mutwe. Biba byaragiye bituruka nk'aho kutabasha kubumva, kutabasha kwishyira mu cyiciro cyabo, kuko nawe kuri iyo myaka wari ufite, ku myaka yabo naho hari ukuntu wari ufite nawe ibyo urwara nabyo. So I want to ask you, when we're wrapping up this interview, have you seen any cultural, like I would say cultural inputs into mental health problems? Like can culture have an effect on mental health?
Do you mean,
I mean,
how
like,
exactly do you mean?
I mean, like people coming from different culture, like the way they do their thing, can that impact things in mental health? Like mostly looking up, like if we take the case of our community, like does our culture impacting like a mental wellness, like mental wellness?
Yeah, I think our culture definitely does impact our mental health. So there's many beautiful things about our culture, of course. We all love our culture. We love where we came from. We love our families and all of that. So it's important to maintain the beautiful aspects of our cultures and our religions and our communities.
We had the taste of Africa. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't get to go, but
it was really beautiful.
Yeah, but there are the negative sides, unfortunately, that do impact us, and that we kind of touched on it earlier with how when people hear the term mental health, they might go and think, oh, this means that I'm crazy. You know, so those are the different like stereotypes and stigmas and like negative perception.
That languages, values, resources, support, and
that we might have on those areas, and those are what I like to call the negative sides of our culture. Unfortunately, you know, it doesn't take away from the beauty of our cultures, but it is an unfortunate side dealing with those stereotypes and those stigmas. So I really want to urge people and motivate people to not look at, you know, struggling with mental health as a bad thing, that it means that somebody is crazy, that it means that you should think less of them. You know, it's normal. It's normal to have a bad day. It's normal to be sad. It's normal to find things at work or at school difficult. It's normal to sometimes get into an argument with your brother, your sister, your mom, dad, whoever. You know, it's normal to feel lonely, and that's a huge thing for refugees and immigrants. When we're coming to America, we feel lonely. You know, back home, we're all together. We're all together. We're sitting down, eating together, you know, one bowl, things like that. So you come to America, it's really hard. Your neighbors, you don't even greet your neighbors. You know, everybody is so busy. You know, there's so many differences between life back home in some of our African countries to life in America, you know. So those are all things that can possibly like negatively impact your mental health, but it's okay. You know, it's important for people to know that it's okay. It's normal for you to deal with those things, those hardships, but try your best to find people to talk to. You know, and you never know who shares the same feelings as you. Everybody, and that's another downside of our culture. Everybody wants to hold everything inside, you know, and holding everything inside, it's more harmful for you. But you never know who can relate to something that you're dealing with, you know.
Urakoze cyane avuze ibintu byinshi ku muco. Twavuga ku muco ko haba hari ingaruka cyangwa se hari ikintu umuco ubangamira ku bintu bijyanye n'ubuzima bwo mu mutwe. Ati yego, urugero nko mu muco wacu usanga abantu benshi, yego dufite ibintu byinshi byiza mu muco, dufite ukuntu dushyira hamwe, ukuntu dusangira, ukuntu tubana, byose ni byiza, ariko mu muco wacu utuma usanga abantu badashaka kuvuga ibintu byabo cyane cyangwa bihugiraho, nyamara hari ibintu byinshi bishobora gutuma utiyumva neza. Nk'urugero, niba uje muri Amerika ukaba uri wenyine nyamara wabanaga n'umuryango munini, ahantu mwari muri, warangiza ukaza mu gihugu ukabana n'abantu, abaturanyi mudasuhuzanya, mutazi n'uwo muturanye ngo ninde, ariko unakora cyane, abantu baba bari bize, bari mu kazi, bigatuma abantu batabasha kuba babohoka ngo baganire cyangwa bamere neza. So rero umuco ni ikintu cy'ingenzi, nacyo kijya kizana ibibazo byinshi. Hari values cyangwa se indangagaciro tugira, hari ururimi, hari biriya byose bishobora kuimpactinga cyangwa bishobora kuzana ingaruka ku buzima bwo mu mutwe. Yes, thank you so much, Oumie. What would you say, like, what was the difference when you came, like, if you say about Gambia? I want to just that feeling of home, like in your home country, to the life in America. Have you seen like, for you, maybe you were young, but you see that in other people. Have you seen that, like, a lot of changes, like, in the people's behavior compared to the way they used to be?
Here? Okay, yeah. I came here when I was really little. I came here when I was only 3 years old. But my parents would send us back to Gambia every summer. And now I try to go to Gambia at least once a year now that I'm an adult and have to pay for myself to go.
And you don't go?
Yeah, no, I still go. I still go. Yeah, I just went. I just went
like,
last year.
when they paid for you, you used to go all the time, but no.
Yeah, no, now that I'm paying for myself, I still go. It's really
Okay.
important for me to stay connected to my culture,
Yeah.
to stay connected to my people, my religion, language, food, all of those things. And I think my parents did a very good job. And I think that's something that also other refugee and migrant families try to do with their families here. Like, you know, they would tell you speak English outside and do American things outside.
Outside, yeah.
Inside this house, we are African. Yeah, inside this house, we do African things, we do Gambian things, all the American stuff. You can do it outside.
You said that helped?
Yeah, I think it was really great that my parents tried their best to make sure that we were that we knew our language. That I'm also a Muslim, so they sent us to like Islamic school on the weekends. So we went to regular American public school during the week, but on the weekends we went to Islamic Sunday school. So we were able to like learn about our faith there and learn about our faith at home. Being taught how to cook Gambian foods at home. We still spoke our languages at home, sending us back home, you know, making sure that like anytime
so that, which means, rephrasing my question, that means the culture did help.
Yeah, the culture did help, and also on the side of like respect, you know, a lot of like morals and values and things that my parents were able to instill in us, you know, respect for your elders, like greeting people when you walk into a room. Just a lot of values and things that they made sure that they were teaching us inside the home, even though we're in America. And that's a nice thing, but they still made sure that they taught us all of the values.
Yeah, thank you so much, Oumie. Thank you for this your time here, and we learned a lot, and I hope our audience also have been able to pick up some things which will be useful. So to wrap this up, you have to go to KRM, Kentucky Refugee Ministry, right? To her department is mental health department if you need any help. Umuntu wese ukeneye ubufasha, ukeneye kuba yagira ikintu amuganirizaho cyangwa se muri department yabo ya mental health muri KRM bahari kugira babafashe, hari abantu babaganiriza. Igihe ufite ikibazo icyo ari cyo cyose muri community twagiye tubibona, hari n'ibindi tugenda tubona, twajya tubarifayinga cyangwa tubohereza kuri izi department zikabafasha. Mwakoze cyane kubana nanjye, nizera ko mwinjiyemo ibintu byinshi muri iki kiganiro, kandi nk'uko yakomeje bivuga, gukomeza kugira values cyangwa kugira umuco ibihugu twaturutsemo birafasha cyane, no kuba wa connectinga cyangwa kubana n'abantu benshi muhuje, bikagufasha kugira ngo uve mu bwigunge, no kugufasha kugira ngo utagira ibibazo byinshi bya mental health. So mental health ni topic y'ingenzi cyane, nayo mpamvu twayizanye. Mwakoze rero, nakagaruka tuzakomeza kubana mu zindi ngingo. This is Tofa. Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.